Are you ready to take action to attain the lifestyle of your dreams?
It's a great way to make a lot of money fast.
Hey, what's going on, Clever Investors? Welcome back to the Clever Investor Show. I'm Cody Sperber, the OG Clever Investor, and today we got a very special treat for you because we got a world champion boxer in the house, Berto. He is a two-time welterweight champion and, a bronze medalist in the Olympics, baby.
Hey, listen.
And just an overall badass. We got Josh Snow back again, whose episode was phenomenal. We had to have him back from Snow Oral Care.
Thanks for having me back, Cody.
Yeah, I'm so happy you're here right now. And we got my biz partner and one of my favorite people in the real estate game and in the entrepreneur space, Cole Hatter.
What up?
Founder of Thrive and Make Money Matter. You guys have heard me brag about Cole before because he's doing really epic things, making his money matter and helping kids, underprivileged kids in Mexico. He's my friend that I brag the most about because, Josh Snow, he makes, 9 figures like it's no problem, right? So he's the no problem guy. Yeah, as long as the IRS isn't listening. He's got all the cool stuff. But do you own an orphanage, Josh?
I contribute to orphanages throughout the world.
He just said he's about to donate to you, Cole. I heard it here.
But Cole builds them by hand.
Yeah, that's right.
He's special.
That's right. Hey, guys, crazy. Listen, I'm so happy you guys are here. We're just going to have a raw conversation. Totally different than a normal Clever Investor show because we just got done masterminding together. You came all the way from Florida.
Definitely.
And now you're in the heat.
The
real heat. The dry heat.
AZ heat. They got me out here, but I'm here.
I know. And we just thought, hey, let's roll the cameras, roll the mics, and talk shop.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So real quick, because I've had the honor of having Josh on the show, and I'm going to get to you first because Cole's got exactly 55 minutes before he's got to catch a flight. But I want to start with you, Andre, because you're coming out of the boxing world.
For sure.
How many years have you been a boxer? When did you start?
Man, I fought. I first started, I think I had my first match when I was 7 years old. 7 years old as an amateur. I've had over 300 amateur fights. I made the U.S. team when I was 15 years old. I got a chance to travel to 21 different countries in high school, with the U.S. team. And I say 2004, went to the Olympic Games. After that, turned pro, and it's been a fucking roller coaster ever since.
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
An epic roller coaster.
Epic.
And you're originally from Haiti?
No,
Where are you from?
Of course, I was born in Florida. I was born in Miami, raised in Central Florida. My parents are from Haiti. So yeah. Okay. All right. Did you ever dream that you were going to go all the way to the top, fighting the best of the best and kicking butt along the way? What? Yeah.
No, that's what I'm talking.
I think that's the mentality that you have to have. Of course, just growing up the way we grew up, from very, very, very humble beginnings. Like I said, of course, my parents are from Haiti, so that struggle was real for us. So,
I want a question. As a young guy coming up, how many times did you mentally put that belt on before you actually got to put that belt on?
Cody in one time.
You could feel how you close your eyes in your bedroom as a little boy. You could feel that weight of that belt on your waist.
Million in one time.
You felt the ref hold your hand up like this as the winner.
I used to sit in my room
visualization
all the time and visualize it constantly. I'll sit in my room and watch tapes of just fighters. I used to write. I have notepads still, like in my old house. In my bedroom, just filled up with notepads, just goals and shit that I just wanted to achieve. And every step that I was going to do to try to accomplish it is crazy. Crazy.
Out of all your fights, what was from looking back, the most memorable one?
Of course, the most memorable was probably, it's hard not to say the Floyd Mayweather fight wasn't the most memorable because a lot that comes with it. But I believe probably just me just winning my first world title. That was, that point for me where I know I really made it, all the hard work that I put in, and just me being able to see all my family, sitting there and enjoy it with me and really go through that process from 7 years old, just running, 5 miles a day, putting in just hours in the gym, time in and time out, and just see it just pay off. It was just amazing. It was just amazing.
Who was like your coach or mentor along that journey that got you through some of those mental hurdles?
Man, my dad. My dad was a beast. Of course, he kind of got me into the fight game. The whole family were fighters, actually. My dad, he was in the mixed martial arts. So, of course, he used to train in a lot of different, disciplines. And he took me to the boxing gym with him one day because I was a badass kid. I kept getting in trouble. I had a lot of energy. And, I just stepped into the gym and they put me in there to spar some fat kid. And I'm looking like, okay, I'm about to beat his ass real quick. And it didn't go that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't go that way. And, he beat me up pretty good. And from that point on, I always wanted to find out how this happened because I was stronger, I was faster, but this kid had the technique and I had to figure that out. I'm like, okay, why was he so calm? Why, how he just dodged and moved from these shots and he just picked me apart. Like, I got to figure this out. And from that point, I was just obsessed with it because I knew if I was able to put all that together, that was going to be a problem.
And so your dad was like coaching along the way?
My dad was, he was my first coach. And of course, I had another coach after that. Of course, that really just took me to another level. But my dad was, like I said, he was brutal. He's an island guy. And if I said I want to do something early in the morning before I go to school, he's out, 5 o'clock in the morning, he's having me running drills. You know what I mean? Anytime I got in trouble at school, it was 500 push-ups, 500 squats before I went to school. So everybody in school knew when I got in trouble. I'm walking in there sore as hell, just looking crazy. But of course, I used to hate it at the time. But from that young age, it kept, it was building me, physically and mentally, as a young man. Without me even knowing, I thought he just was an asshole. Like, damn, like this dude is doing a lot. But, once I really found my path, man, I just felt that I was so much further than a lot of other kids my age, mentally, and physically. And, it just took me to another level.
We're too soft on our kids now.
I know.
Man,
what the hell? He's doing 500 push-ups, 500 squats.
He was not playing.
I breathe on Hudson wrong. He starts crying and threatening to call the police on me.
Man,
that's what happens nowadays.
Yeah,
it's just like,
they call the police on me.
Yeah, it's like, what?
So did you have any resentment growing up towards him, or did you that was just what was normal to you, so you just dealt with it? Because ultimately it helped create a mindset in you and a drive in you that made you the undisputed champion of the whole freaking world.
For sure.
How cool that must feel. I've got questions on that later.
Of course, I didn't like it all the time, but I think, just with me, for some reason for me, I always wanted to try to prove my father wrong to a sense, even though he pushed me, but he was the type of guy, he didn't want to give me too much love. Do this, do that. I don't know if you can do that. Okay, well, I'm going to show you. Okay, you think that's going to break me? I'm going to show you. You know what I mean? That was my mentality coming up. That was always my mentality on how I carried myself always, especially when it came to him, because he was such a big figure. He was well known around town. He was muscular. He was this, he was that. And I seen the respect that all other adults gave him, and I wanted that as well. So if I'm living there in the house with that type of guy, I know I had to show him on a regular basis, what kind of kid that he had. So it was war all the time in the house.
I feel like that's a big problem today is that there's not enough of that, fatherless homes.
Yeah, for sure.
And not having that
for sure
framework to be able to build off of, right? And so like, how many times did you go with your dad to work, and what type of work, and what type of camaraderie did he have around them? And it sounds like that was definitely a framing that was important.
And at the same time, I think it was very important that, he wasn't just telling me what to do. I was able to see him get up every day and get to it.
Example.
You know what I mean? He was an amazing example. I seen him running. I seen him hitting the gym on a regular basis. I seen his mental mentality with all the shit that we were dealing with. We didn't have much. I got a chance to see it on a regular basis. So it wasn't,
Do you think he seeded the championship mindset? Because it's fast.
For sure.
It's very unique. It's fascinating.
For sure.
It's ultimate.
For sure. Like I said, I knew, like in our community, I knew that we were different to a sense because, of course, just being from Haiti, I didn't have a lot of this other, a lot of the same shit a lot of other kids had. So I knew, things were different for us.
Right.
You understand me? So I knew that we had to work probably twice as hard to get the respect or just to even earn whatever that we wanted at the time. And he continued to push on that. He continued to hone that in our minds that we got to work twice as hard for everything that we need. So you can't slack. If this is what you want to do, you got to put 101% into it. I'm going to make sure you do. You know what I mean? So if this is what you want to do, son, let's do it. He's waking me up 5 o'clock in the morning. Boom. Da, 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 da. So you get off the bus at school, you're running 3 miles to the gym. If this is what you want to do, I don't want to hear nothing else. And that was it. Wow. That was it. Period.
Strong.
Yeah. So, now you're on the other end of your career, right? And you're here because you're getting into real estate.
Man, I love it, man. I love all of it, bro. I love business. I love business. I've always been a great student, when it comes to, just different ventures of things. And just throughout life, period, I just believe there's graduating stages, in every aspect of life. Of course, when I was in high school, we had to graduate. When I was an amateur, we had to graduate. I went to the pinnacle as an amateur, went to the Olympics, and it was time to graduate. So we turned pro, and I went to the pinnacle of the professional game, fighting for world titles and fighting, what's his name, Floyd Mayweather. Now it's almost time to graduate again. You know what I mean? So I want to be the best at this side, like of this side of life as well. So for me, the shit doesn't stop.
There's a tremendous amount of athletes that come off of that high.
Yeah.
Being in the ring, being a champion, having everybody around you cheering you on, to all of a sudden that ends. And you're trying to find your purpose, find your passion, find your lane. And they suffer, and they blow through their money. They're not good at financial intelligence.
Thanks.
There's not a lot of examples. I think that's what I love most about what you're doing right now is you're setting a standard for people watching you.
Have to, man. I think in order to go to the next level, you have to seek. You know what I mean? I've been able to observe and see guys, go through the shit from being the top dogs to, of course, when the career is over, because it's going to be over sooner or later, to fall into the pitfall, like I said, the same pitfall of like everybody else. They just run through their cash, or their overhead is just still ridiculous. Once those paychecks stop coming in, like I said, it always ends bad. You know what I mean? So, and another thing, I just don't think they have too much of an example that they can look forward to, because it's a continuing cycle. I've seen it over and over again. So I think I need to be that example.
You're in the right lane. Real estate's a great lane to be in.
I love it.
You guys were talking about maybe getting in it. You on affordablehousing.com?
Absolutely. Well, of course we are.
Getting some affordable housing there.
We're in on it already.
All right. That deal was brokered in the back of my Tesla. I'm just saying.
You might be in as well. You can get another Tesla.
Someday I hope to earn that kind of net worth. You said something in the back of the car that I thought was pretty profound. You were talking about Magic Johnson.
Yes.
What did you say?
Well, first I said, I think he's one of the best entrepreneur and business speakers I've ever heard. And not that I didn't expect a lot. Obviously, his name speaks before him and all of that. But I think being able to listen to his principles and how he negotiated up front, and he was willing to play chess when a lot of people wanted to play checkers. And I really admire that delayed gratification, because it's one of the signs of mastery and championship. And it requires that. And I think that he doubled down and said, you know what, if you want me to be here forever, well, then you got to mentor me. You got to introduce me to all the people that are in the front row. I want to meet these people that come watch me and my buddies play. And, if they're well off enough to be able to have a floor seat, I might want to have a lunch with them. And so I heard that, and that was really strong. And I think that there was something that kind of called to me in terms of the connections between extreme, championship level, extreme, unique, rare athletes like Andre, and then business, icons and the rise even in real estate, you name it. But it's a sport. And I think that was one of the first times hearing someone so successful break it down in that fashion and connect those dots. And I think it really calmed me down a lot, because I said, this is my sport, and this is what I want to become the best. I want to become, like Andre, a champion of the world of my business. And I want to teach others to do that. I want to invest in others to do that. And I want to teach others how to do that. And I connect a lot to the example piece in being a young Hispanic entrepreneur and saying, how can I create that framework? How many Hispanic billionaires can you point to? Most people point to Steve Jobs, and they point to XYZ, right? And Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. And so I think, mixing up that representation in terms of what's available, I think that's why I've been able to build brands with athletes and celebrities. And I think there's a certain level of intensity. And I think hearing that from someone so successful and accomplished as Magic Johnson, in a way that was translated in business that connected those dots, I mean, I couldn't thank him enough.
Yeah, think of the foresight in that. Like, I'm going to get paid really well, but what's just as important to me is you to introduce me to everybody who's got those floor seats. Wow. Because whatever they know, whoever they know, however they got there, I want to understand that.
Yeah, totally.
That's gangster.
That's cool. I never heard that story before. I like that.
Dope.
He's great, man. That's brilliant.
No, I think it's dope too because, for somebody like him to say that, because to be honest, coming from where we come from and our, like I said, our demographic of people,
right?
We always, have to do something physical to be able to reach that. To reach that point, to be able to sit down with guys that that, like I say, most likely, you have a great, like business sense to a sense. They can, sit down and really probably try to plan something out to make happen is always key.
Who's some other athletes that like you knew, like you met that really impressed you that you were like, wow, they transcend just athletics. They really
is dope.
Yep, they get the business
Shaq
side.
is killing it. Magic's killing it. Shannon Sharp is killing it. Man, he's killing it right now too. Just a handful actually, man.
Would you say Floyd's good at business?
Oh yeah.
That was a good answer right there. That was a solid answer.
I'm hearing that he's in a lot of things. I don't know Floyd.
All right.
I can speak for him. I work with Floyd. I could tell you that he's definitely diversified.
Yeah.
And I think that he's got a lot going on. And I think that's been good. And again, that's one of the kind of connection points for athletes in sports and visualizing business as a sport, that there's some shared respect in in the pedigree that you've worked for. And I think that the distance from where you started to where you are now is also some sense of connection, because a lot of entrepreneurs like myself, like so many, start with absolutely nothing, all the odds stacked against them. And then you have to become your own biggest cheerleader because there's no one there in the beginning that sees what you see, but you have to see what you see. And if you stop seeing that, who else will see it? Yeah. And you've got to see it so much so that it becomes so, and then everyone else sees it. And then sometimes when you have a bad day and you can't see it, those people will remind you to see it. And
it correlates
crazy.
The same. It correlates a lot with, like I say, with sports, especially with boxing. It correlates all the same.
When you're trying to cut like a brand deal, like an endorsement celebrity brand deal, so let's say you guys don't know each other. You want to get Andre to do the snow teeth whitening, hold it up with his pearly white, doing his thing, right? How are you approaching him directly? Are you approaching his management team? How are you structuring a deal?
DMs, bro.
Yeah, are you sliding into that DM? He's like, I'm a hot, tall Hispanic male with white teeth.
Why not?
You would jump all on that, Cody.
Cody, I already blocked him 3 months ago.
Yeah. Well,
jump all over.
He's been off my Instagram. But I think the truth is I talk to people that I want to work with. That's if they see what I see, I talk to them differently. And if they don't, and it's just, here's 50 grand to post something, do this. That's an endorsement. That's okay. That's normal. There's nothing wrong with that. But if I say, hey, wouldn't it be cool if, we could impact billion lives because everybody brushes their teeth. Everyone's got teeth, kids all around the world. What if we donated a toothbrush for every toothbrush we sold? And
well, now you're talking my language.
I think there's opportunity because when you have someone that's made a significant amount of money, they have opportunity, they got inbound opportunity left and right, equity, all this stuff, whatever. So for me, I don't want to be in that same conversation unless it's just an endorsement deal. If I go, this is just an endorsement deal, chill out, we'll see where it goes. Let's start here. And that's okay. And then you start somewhere. But if it's a partnership or something where I'm like, hey, do you think people will have teeth in 20 years? Okay, well then we should be business partners and we should figure it out. And what else do you do? And so I think there is that different kind of approach when you see someone that has perhaps longevity. You go, this guy gets it. We're going to work together. Rob Gronkowski and Chuck Liddell were two early on equity partners inside of Snow. It wasn't because it was like we barely made our first $1 million or something, $2 million. But they saw it and Rob was like, I've never whitened my teeth in my life and I have super sensitive teeth. And he's like, all right, I'm going to try it. And if it whitens my teeth and it doesn't cause me sensitive teeth, I'll call you back. And I was like, all right, try it out. And so he called me back and he was like, I love this. I could see this being a household name. I could see elevating oral care. And that was a different approach. Chuck was like, I understand teeth whitening. I've been around the teeth. The mouth guard is like what I wear when I fight. I get it. There was just so much there that was different than just like, oh yeah, I'll promote it. I got a lot of people that would buy this. It was a different style. So I'm either looking for how they treat me or looking and seeing if I want to change that. Otherwise, I'll be like, okay, we'll do
looking
that.
For like alignment and synergy. More than
it's
just
a vibe, man.
Yeah.
It's a vibe. I can smell it through the manager. If the manager is not it, it's not it. And then I say, let me get direct. And I try to get as direct as I can to the celebrity, the athlete, because I get them more sometimes, and especially up front, most of the time, than I do the manager. Because, so if I can get with the athlete, I can sit with Floyd and say, hey, you got a great smile. This is what we want to do. What do you think about this? That sounds pretty. What if we did this? What if we did this? Versus just, hey, post this picture of this thing and do it. And for me, I kind of want to spend more time on people in that lane.
Yeah.
And the endorsements, you knock them out. How much am I paying for? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. And if it works well, you might come back and say, let's have lunch. But people kind of self-identify, I think, depending on how interested they are on what you're working on. They'll let you know if they want to be more involved. And I think you just got to give them the opportunity to do so. You got to sell well. You got to storytell well. You got to communicate well. You got to be convicted on what you're working on. And, the craziest thing that I think I've learned in this space for the most part is that people want to be around people that they believe want nothing from them. And as soon as someone gives me something, I give it times 2 back to them, and I want nothing back. And I find that if you amplify that 17 years I've been doing this, over time, it starts to pay back. And I think in that world with celebrities and athletes, they want to find the pedigree that they can respect at the level that they've earned. And they want to find someone who's not going to yank their chain and, F them around. They want to know, what's the real deal? What are we doing here? Yeah. How are you making money? How are you making money? What is here? What is the backstop? What's going on here? And I found that the best partners that I've had in the celebrity and athlete space are now switching from athlete and now adding entrepreneur and investor. So athlete, champion, athlete, entrepreneur, investor.
Yeah.
And
they're expanding. They're growing bigger.
Yes. And not everyone's willing. Only 10, 20% of athletes want to do that.
Yeah.
The rest are in the middle of their career, or they're looking for more endorsements, or they don't maybe vibe with what you're doing. And that's okay, because you're not looking for every single athlete. You're looking for the best ones that vibe with what you're doing. And you say, okay, well, let's start somewhere and let's see where this goes. And what do you think we should have? And I've gotten some of the best ideas from my partners, because they're the ones that have access to the audience. And they go, you know what I hear a lot of? If there was something like this, and I've been using the product, and they give you that feedback because they want to promote it harder. And they know if you change the product for their audience, they'll promote it harder.
Yeah.
Are they tied in some sort of rev share agreement, or how do you,
it's all listeners, across the board, man. I've done 100 deals differently. Yeah. The most common is a little upfront cash, right? So you pay for the media. And then a little kickback on the back end for sales for a boost. So if it ends up working out well, you want to incentivize that. And then sometimes there's other stuff inside of it. But usually if you're up front, let me give you a little bit of cash. Let's see where we can go. Let's see how it works. But you can't ask a champion athlete, be like, yo, I'll just do it for free. I'll give you 5% equity of something. That's very disrespectful. It's like Pablo Picasso and saying like, hey, just draw something on the napkin for my kids.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I was talking with a friend. His name's Ryan. Ryan, Hammy TV on Instagram. Yeah, his name's Ryan. They got a massive audience. Him and his wife too. Lots of fun, gaggy type skits and stuff. And they were approached by Blue Chew, and they've done a bunch of stuff with Blue Chew, which is like, I don't know, Viagra, or the alternative of Viagra. You chew a little thing.
Erectile dysfunction.
You get a little excited. And it's perfect for them because it's a husband and wife doing skits about being a husband and a wife.
Yeah.
But anyway, they blew Blue Chew up.
Yeah.
Like blew it up. And he was like, I was their first big kind of influencer that I took a shot on. And then he earned equity, and now they're riding off into the sunset. And every once in a while I see him post a little Blue Chew. I'm like, there you go, get paid. And it works because Blue Chew makes
But here's the thing you got to realize with that, I've done so many deals now with influencers and stuff. And if I was to go back in time, I would say, make sure what you're promoting is right. I would rather, I'm not an athlete. I don't represent athletes. I don't represent celebrities. I work with them, and I'm an entrepreneur. But if I was in that space, I would look at life insurance, right? So the Teen Mom series on MTV, don't sell some more waist trainers and fat burners. Sell single mom life insurance for all of your followers who have followed you. You got 3 million followers, 5 million followers, 10 million followers. Instead of selling 5,000 waist trainers that don't even do anything or whatever it is, right? you should go and see how can I partner with an insurance company and have all these moms that are following me and say, as a single mom, what would happen if something happened to you? Well, you want to make sure that your kids are protected. And this is why I'm partnering with Gerber or whatever it is, and say, I want to get a cut of all the policies I'm bringing in. I want to educate. I want to make sure this is the real deal. And so, like, for example, Taylor Swift avoided the FTX lawsuit because she asked a simple question, and I can't recant the exact question, but she asked a question that was probably driven by her father's been in investment for a long time, maybe her legal counsel, she's got a team, but someone asked the question, the right question, and it allowed her to avoid the whole FTX debacle. But I think that that's important when you think about celebrities and athletes. They're looking at longevity. So they don't want to hurt their brand because that's what they have. They built this brand, the reputation over so much time. They want to make sure the product works. They want to make sure it's legit. Is it something that they would actually use? Would they consider using it? Would their audience get benefit from it? So you got to go through all these layers. But I found that if you were to sell insurance or something that had a long lifetime value high, or maybe you're raising money for a real estate investment project from accredited investors, you get 1,000 people to convert and an average of $50,000 of investment. That's $50 million in a weekend of promotion from one athlete to drive to a real estate investment project. So the arbitrage of how you use the eyeballs is really important. So if someone's got 3 million, 10 million followers, what are you selling them? How widely available is it? Is it just an Indiana offer? Well, then I can't do that for my whole audience. They're not going to be able to activate. So I think that celebrities and athletes that most who are thinking to now move to that next stage of their career, which is to build the enterprise value and liquidate that and monetize their brand, just think about that longevity. And if you look at Ryan Reynolds, for example, Mint Mobile, a mobile phone. Yeah. Smart. It's affordable. Everybody can get it. Swipe up, easy. Everybody who follows him, everyone watches a movie or a show. So you think about where these people are really cashing out and where athletes are making the majority of their net worth. It's not in like the most scientific stuff in the world, but it's in very specific areas and they're able to draw lifetime value from it. And so anyone listening, if you've got millions of followers, think about what you're pushing and just be, wait a second, I'm about to push this supplement or something else. Could I push auto insurance? Could I have my own little auto insurance?
It's a whole nother level of thinking. You just kind of gave him a master class on like how to like really think.
We're working on it.
Well, how much have you spent on endorsements and
60, 70 million amount cash?
That's why people listening to this should pay attention.
Definitely.
That's the credibility part. I wanted to make sure everybody understood. That's a lot of freaking money.
I didn't know. Not for the endorsement stuff. I knew business, but I didn't know Hollywood.
Yeah.
I didn't know managers, endorsements. And I would walk in and I just got fed up one time and I said, all right, how do you get paid? How do you get paid? How does he get paid? How does he get paid? And it just like, it made things easier. And it's like, oh, well, I get 3% of the contract. I get a 1% override. I'm the lawyer, so I bill hours. So let me do all the legal counsel. So I could figure out very quickly, oh, okay.
Yeah. So what's in it for them?
It's just like quick. Exactly. Otherwise, you go to 20 dinners and you're like, are we going to work together? And I'm like, man, I don't got time for this. I'm not from Hollywood. I'm an entrepreneur. I got to move. I'm an athlete in my sport, a business. For sure. So I got to move. And so that was kind of my motion. I think me not knowing that space was probably one of my biggest advantages because I didn't go through the similar layer.
Through the same process. Straight through.
Well, I love it. You said something that I want to touch on. You said, hey, how cool would it be like to explain to the celebrity or the athlete, hey, we can make a toothbrush, we sell a toothbrush, we give one away. That's kind of that Tom Shoes model. That's making, that's putting business and give back all together into one,
social entrepreneurship.
Okay, and this is right up Cole Hatter's alley.
This gets me excited. It got me hard nipples when you were talking about that.
Is the man who taught me about for-purpose businesses and making their money matter. So explain that, like open it up for every single person real fast. Why would an entrepreneur want to set their business up, not just make a bunch of money and then donate and give it away, and that's how they make their money matter, but why would they want to integrate that thought, like a Tom Shoes or Snow Oral Care, giving away toothbrushes to underprivileged kids? How does that all work? And what's your pitch to a young entrepreneur for setting their business up the right way?
Let me start with that last part of the question, how it works. And then your first part, why would someone want to do it? How it works is just connecting your business to some social cause, like Josh was just talking about. For every toothbrush he sells, he gives one away for free, right? It's not Josh becoming incredibly wealthy and then deciding to be altruistic and generous, which he also is, by the way, but it's in his business model. Before he ever gets paid, his business is already solving a problem. That's a for-purpose business. Tom's Shoes was just brought up. Same model. For every pair of shoes they sold, they gave a pair away. Before Blake Mikowski, the founder, paid himself, there was already a free pair of shoes donated to some child or person in a third world country that needed it. So it's not just being generous, and that's where the confusion is around for-purpose business. For it to be a for-purpose business, it solves some social need or cause or contributes to some cause in the mechanism of the business itself. Then the business kicks out profit, and once you get paid, you can do whatever you want with it. You can be generous continually and do things with your own money. So that's what a for-purpose business is. Why should people do it, man? We would need to have our own podcast. I could spend an hour on this. Luckily, I haven't been
Cody can't afford that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, with this conversation I've been having now since 2015. So I have now watched thousands of businesses come to thrive, convert to for-purpose, and I've gotten all the testimonials of them talking about how the lives that they're impacting and how they're changing the world. But what's really cool is their fulfillment. So if for no other reason to just re-fall in love with your business and know that you are a part of the solution and not a part of any problem that's out there is a huge reason why people would want to go to the for-purpose direction. Now, I could talk about all of the consumer reports, and we all have seen the younger generations become more, I don't want to say touchy-feely, but more having a higher expectation that businesses do well and give back. All that data exists out there. So you have more market share by being for purpose. It's a unique branding opportunity to talk about that in your messaging that you give back. Like there's all of the tactical things. But at the end of the day, what it really does for people is gives them purpose again. Most people long for purpose. And making money and being successful and even winning championships are huge and feel good, but that doesn't give people lifelong purpose. There needs to, you would have to win a championship every weekend and you would have to make it, right? And so the thing that for a lot of people connects them to purpose is you, for an example, with Green Elephant, you're passionate about animal conservation, specifically elephants. Well, now while you're making tens of millions of dollars doing real estate, you're also helping these animals. And if you do it right as a for purpose, one of your KPIs and one of your metrics that you're looking at quarterly is how many lives are we impacting or whatever that cause is. How much trees have we planted? And I'm not the first person to think of this. Obviously, we've talked about Tom's Shoes. You've got your company, and there are a bunch. I was just at a Starbucks the other day, and I saw in the checkout there was a little protein bar, and it says this bar saves lives. And I flipped it over, and for every bar you buy, they give a meal away to some kid somewhere. Wow. Yeah, so this is becoming a bigger and bigger and bigger trend. But why people should do it is it will make you more money. It will make your brand stand out because it is still unique. I hope that someday this is just the way that business is done, and that by being for purpose, you're not even cool anymore. It's just there's an expectation. You have a product or service, and you have a cause. Right now, businesses just have products or services, and every now and then you find someone like Josh with a cause built in. I hope that part of what my life purpose is having this conversation with as many people will listen to get as many businesses to convert to for purpose as possible. So this is just what the consumer expectation is. Consumers expect that your business gives back in some capacity, and it becomes something that's not just important, but has to be a part of your business. So that's my dream. That's my vision. We can get there someday if people continue to do it. But
the stats are nuts too, Cole, because we're building a website right now, givingsociety.com, which is an app for Shopify owners to add to their account. 100% goes to the charity, but allow the customers to round up in their order, right? So you can do it at every store, right?
So many ways.
I see that a lot.
But the conversion rates are high.
Panda Express,
Chick-fil-A, you name it.
They're always asking me to round up.
Yeah, they round it up and then they take credit for it all at the end. They're like, we donated 50 million.
Yeah.
But which is fine. You know, at the end of the day, it goes to the right people. But
see, I'm glad you said that because there's a lot of conversation around should you or should you not. And it's like, man, if people are being benefited, let's do it.
As you should. If you have the opportunity, you have the responsibility. And I think you should give, right? And I think that's huge. But I think the conversion rate on the business, the thing is that I want people to hear too is you're not like, obviously you're not wrong, but like the conversion rate increase is huge. The average order value, people spend more. They refer more. All the stats are there. And we know, because we have to convince business owners to add this free app to their website to allow customers to round up in their purchase. And they go, well, what's in it for me? And you go, well, you're going to help a lot of people. It's not going to take any work. It's not going to cost you any money.
Yeah.
I know, but like, you know, is it going to make me any more money? And once we saw the stats and we go, wow, 28% increase in conversion rate, X% increase in average order value. So actually it's way better. Yeah. That people buy more, they come back more, they stick to you more.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that win-win. But I think what you're doing is really important, Cole, because there is that status quo of like, should I give, should I not? There's a lot of that confusion.
In that, how does your app make money? So many of our listeners reach out and they ask us how they can get involved in my actual real estate deals. Our investment firm specializes in finding deeply discounted properties, acquiring them, renovating, stabilizing both single-family and multifamily properties all over the United States. That's why we're so excited to share with you clevercapitalfund.com. Now, if you have some investment capital and you want to deploy it and receive double-digit returns backed by real estate, then visit our website and see which fund is right for you. We have both equity funds and we have debt funds where you just get paid out every month like clockwork. All you got to do is visit www.clevercapitalfund.com today to learn more. You get what I'm saying? Like if you're creating a website or creating
we've got some of the smartest developers, my partners, with Giving Society, and we're building opportunities for example, crypto, NFT. So there's innovation in IP that we're developing as a team, but my partners are experts on developing in terms of how do we make it seamless for one click. Stripe was an invention one day to allow people to process credit cards through their web apps. Shopify was an invention one time, allow people to create e-commerce. So I think that in the process of doing what we do best, which is the focus is to give 100% of those proceeds straight to the donation source, we will build some IP over time, and I think we will be able to perhaps unlock, like GoFundMe, for example, was acquired, right? So there's IP beyond that, but I think the focus of the business is you can't focus on making money if you're focused on giving it away solely. You can mix the two, and that's where you're able to do both. If you can give a 1-for-1 or 10% of profits, 1% of profits, something, the retention on your team, the retention on your customers, the more they spend, the more they share. And it just feels good, man. At the end of the day, I feel it's my responsibility. So I can't really justify it, but there are so many positives to it.
I like how you explained it because it really is, hey, look, we're going to stick with our goal, the philanthropic goal, but by building this infrastructure and this technology, you never know what down the road can be acquired by a bigger company. So there can still be a massive exit and a big win.
You need that as an entrepreneur because why are people going to work for this? Yeah. Because the truth is, if you look at nonprofits, you look at the salaries of teachers and et cetera, there's a degradation and it's difficult to incentivize someone to make more than 50 grand a year and be like, solve this whole problem. And you're going to make 40 grand a year, work 80 hours a week and pay for all your own supplies for the kids. They aren't even yours. So it's like, it's a lot. So I think that it requires a public-private type of partnership, or it requires kind of entrepreneurial thinking to say, how can we reinvent this? I invented a tool years ago called studentwallet.org, and I donated it to our nonprofit foundation. And I went out of pocket myself to get it done. I need to get it done. I didn't need the red tape of education or et cetera, and donate to the foundation. So it'll never make money. And the truth is, some of these things may never make money. But I think with what we're building on the donation software side of things, there is a way for us to do NFTs. Like if you've got NFTs and you want to donate them to charity and get a tax write-off and all of this, if we make it easy for you in one click to do so on your favorite websites, that might be an innovation that might be worth licensing, that might have other implications. And you need that as an entrepreneur when you're recruiting top level talent, because they need an opportunity to create something that could be monetizable. But worst case, we help millions of people. So it's like, make $1 billion.
That's the right
worst case,
answer
we
right
help
there.
millions of people.
Just doing the right thing.
Of course.
Josh has more money than he could spend in his life. And so why not do some passion projects that the IP and tech will be worth something at some point.
Yes.
But in the meantime, your net result is you're impacting the world in a positive way. I think that's important.
That's right.
So here's $1 million question for you guys.
Beautiful.
Entrepreneurship. Are you born with the it factor to be an entrepreneur, or is this something you learn?
You know, my opinion on this is changing in real time. I thought it was something you can learn, but I think, well, let me be clear. Running a business is different than being like a true blue entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs, as you're asking your question, are a unique breed. And I think that you are born. Now, someone who's not a true blue entrepreneur can learn how to run a business. But I even, to be completely honest with you guys, question every now and then if I'm even an entrepreneur. Because I look at guys like Josh, who's 8 years younger than me and making 9 figures. And it's like, well, why aren't I making 9 figures? I had an 8-year run on this guy, right? But at the same time, I know that I am literally unemployable. Like I can't work for somebody. I'd be fired in like 2 seconds.
You definitely are.
Yeah. And I need an outlet for my creativity. In business, it's always problem solving. Like there would be no career that would be satisfying for me emotionally or mentally. all the frustration, it's like that bad relationship that you guys keep breaking up and keep getting back together. Yeah. That's me in business. Like, man, it'll punch me in the face. It'll kick me. It'll throw me down on the curb, but I come back for more every freaking day. And so I think, and Gary Vee, I think, does a really good job explaining like the personality profile of an actual entrepreneur. And he challenges a lot of people, like, don't even try business. You might not be an entrepreneur, go elsewhere. But I would say that, again, anybody can run a business. Anyone can learn the skills and have the pain tolerance and the pain threshold to do what it takes to run a business with the skill sets. But an entrepreneur, I think those are born. And this is a new realization for me. I used to say that entrepreneurs could be manufactured with the right financial literacy, the right mentorship, the right drive, the right opportunity. But I don't think so. I think an actual entrepreneur is born. Now, for anybody who's listening to that and just got discouraged and like, well, damn, was I born with it or not? Don't forget, you can still have a successful business. Yeah. But like a Josh Snow, a Cody Sperber, and I don't know enough about your businesses yet, but I would guess I couldn't hire you guys. I mean, there wouldn't be enough money that I could pay you for you to build my dream.
Exactly. It's just like, just like what Cole said. I think, I figure that we're born to a sense because we got to have that certain type of drive. Anybody can, of course, just pretty much just, learn a skill and just do a job and, of course, be able to be successful. But to be a real, true entrepreneur, you gotta have a certain type of drive to you, I believe, that you're.
What are some of the skills that like maybe athletes have to be a very high level successful athlete that can translate to entrepreneurship?
And that's the crazy thing about it, man. I see a lot of guys, they struggle so much, when it comes to, like the transition. But the way I look at it is, I'm like, man, we're perfect for this. You know what I mean? We're perfect for this. I mean, we have that drive. We have that determination, the consistency, just to get whatever done. I know guys that'll run through a wall to get something done. You know what I mean? Like if it's whatever the case may be, I think they just need more direction. I think they need coaching.
They're so coachable. They just need that guidance.
They just need that guidance.
Your bounce back spirit's there. Your determination's there.
All day. They just need some guidance. They're going to go out there and get it done. Period.
And I don't want to stereotype it. Would you say a lot of people that are in athletics and excel as an athlete maybe have no financial literacy or lack of financial literacy growing up because they're so focused on the sport that they're not being impacted on the financial literacy side by their mentors or coaches or people around them?
I mean, like 9 times out of 10, a lot of us come from the inner cities. We don't have that type of education when it comes to financial literacy at all. And of course, I grew up the same way. Our parents didn't have it. Our grandparents didn't have it. So it's just a continued cycle. So like I said, for us, like for somebody like myself, you have to try to seek something. You have to try to get into these rooms and try to figure it out. That's the way I am. I'm like, okay, we got to figure this out. For some reason, these guys are getting ridiculous contracts, hundreds of millions of dollars, and shit just goes out the window.
Yeah, blasting right through it.
Yeah, just blasting right through it.
Man, because they got their whole crew. They got to be buying Ferraris for everybody.
Got to get the chains.
What was the one thing that, like, right out of the gate, you just blew that bag and you're like, oh, shit.
You know the crazy thing about it?
That went quick.
You know the crazy thing about it, man? I was so scared. As soon as I turned pro, I came out of the Olympics. I was very, I tried it out at the Olympics. They gave me that big check. I've always thought about, okay, I'm the one to change our situation. I can't fuck this up. You know what I mean?
Like for your family.
Yeah, for the family. So it's like I've always thought about them first before I thought about myself. And I've always tried to put myself in certain rooms and certain situations to make sure I had a strong foundation first. I need to get me a CPA. I need to get me a lawyer. I need to get me a business manager. I need to do everything that at the time I knew that I had to do to try to make sure things were okay first. Then after that, okay, as soon as I got to put together, let me go ahead and spend a little bit.
Now, did it work?
Yeah,
it worked. You were able to protect some of the income?
Of course, I had some guys I grew up with. My guy, Tracy McGrady, of course, NBA legend. So I grew up with him. And just me, just being in the boxing game and just assessing it so much and just seeing so many guys, go broke or just like some other like NBA guys, NFL guys in my community just go broke. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And I figured out, of course, when it comes to boxing, we don't have a union at all. So, of course, with the NFL, the NBA, they have a union. They have somewhat of a structure. Like I say, these kids, they come out of college, they link them up with business managers. They link them up with managers and agents. For us, it was they taking kids from the inner city. If you're a good fighter, here, we're putting you in the ring. You go in there and bust ass and we're going to give you a check and you figure it out. You know, there's no structure at all. It's still set up now to this day, straight mafia style to a sense. So, you know, at an early age, I seen it and I got a chance to really understand it. And, you know, I got guys like Tracy McGrady, Amari Stoudemire, all these guys I grew up with, you know, like the Ray Lewis's. And you know, I sat down and had those conversations. I'm like, listen, okay, I see what I need to do. I need to build my own team.
Now, are other boxers that maybe have gone a little ahead of you, made some serious money? Are they, when you're talking to them, are they like, look, let me school you on a couple things. Boom, boom, boom.
Not too.
So they're not even like, they're not even supporting like that.
No. I mean, like you'll be very surprised. Some of the big guys in the game, some of the, even, like I say, a lot of legends, man, they're just out of it. I mean, one of the most, you know, like craziest things I've seen, I went to the Boxing Hall of Fame and some of, the icons in the game, like the Marvin Haglers, the you know, just all the greats. For me to see so many of them just out of it, physically and financially, that was the saddest thing for me to see. Some of the guys we looked up, you know, to be able to watch and be able to get this encouragement from and just love, you know, I said, like, see them fighting to make all this money, but to see them now, it's, you know, like I said, it's tragic. So for me, I feel like, you know, that's something I need to do.
Yeah, maybe that could be part of your for-purpose mission is how to really build it into all your real estate business models and stuff. Educate, help, support.
At this point, man, you know, like the guys are searching. You know, they really want to try to dive in. If it's, you know, like I said, like if it's, you know. I said, if it's fighters, you know, NBA guys, NFL guys, I mean, like I said, they hit me up all the time trying to get into a lot of different things. So
yeah, with your network, with your credibility, with the influence you have over professional athletes, you should never be short on cash. This guy right here says it's never a lack of money; it's always a lack of creativity.
Exactly.
You just need access to deals, man.
Yeah,
that's it.
We're going to increase those skills so much so that they're throwing money at you.
It's just a point
TKO
right now.
Properties.
They just need to see it. They just need to see it.
But this is a double win, and because you're going to be able to fund your ventures, but you're also going to provide a safe place for them to park their money. And you can help change that ratio of athletes that retire and go broke within 5 years or whatever it is, because along their career, they've been parking money with you. So you can have a pretty big social responsibility within the athletic community to use your financial literacy, your network, your opportunities, your drive to
to be able to make it cool, man, and make the shit like a sport. Just like my man was talking about, like just making it the new sport.
Look, here's how you, this is how you win, bro. If it has to do with real estate, you just ask me, follow every move I make. I'm going to make you a fortune.
Let's do it.
But the second you see me go in on crypto, or a watch, know the exact fucking opposite is about to happen to the market. Because as soon as I buy that Richard Millie for 160, next month it's worth 100. Every time. If I get in on crypto, you just pull all your shit out right away.
Quickly.
I'm like your...
Quickly. I'm scared of
That's why we're great friends. I just don't read your text for a month and then do whatever you said a month ago. And then it's perfect timing.
That's right. I know real estate. That's it.
Yeah, you do.
Top 3 skills that somebody who wants to be a successful entrepreneur needs. Go.
I don't know if these are skills, but drive, a why, and a purpose.
Okay.
Oh, man. Let's see. I'm going to copy drive. I would say team. Or I guess that's a skill set, but team building for sure. And communication, storytelling, being able to convey a good story, you know.
All right, what you got?
I may piggyback on some of that, but just have different wording. Need to have that relentlessness. You know, you need to have that consistency, and you have to be able to be coachable.
Coachable, that's good.
Yeah, I was going to say sales, persuasion, and influence.
That's
right up your alley, bro.
Yeah, that is.
I'm surprised you didn't say it because you're one of the best wordsmiths in the game.
I am. Great friend. Yeah, I wanted to make sure you had that opportunity. I was doing a layup, but
it's my only shot to get airtime on my own podcast right now.
Well, that's okay.
That was it.
But
that's the clip.
Let me talk about this real quick. Let me ask you guys a question. So I said why, and I think that sales, persuasion, influence, and everything you guys said is good. But for me personally, business can be tough. And people ask me a lot. I just got to speak in my old high school, which was super cool because they didn't think I would graduate. Now they ask me to come back to teach success. Thank you very much. And
Are you going to land in like the football field in your helicopter?
Yeah, right. Shouldn't I? Shoot, man. They asked me if they should. Anyway, it all went well until I told them not to go to college.
Make them a new gym.
Yeah, name after me. Gym. Yeah, that would be funny. Now I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, they were asking me how I stay motivated. So these high school kids are like, how do you stay motivated? And I told them the truth. I was like, I don't. I have days where I totally lack motivation, where we can have some deals go sideways, events go sideways, things like this. And I literally quit. There are days where I tell my wife I'm freaking over it and I get in one of my cars and I go drive the coast for 2 hours. But after I'm done feeling sorry for myself and crying like a crybaby and sucking my thumb in the fetal position in the corner of my bedroom, I stand up like a man and I get back to work because I have that why, because I have that purpose, because I have that chip on my shoulder. So let me ask you guys, do you think that that's a required element for continued success? Because I see a lot of entrepreneur flash in the pans, and I wonder, was it just lack of skills? Was it just, they were in the right place at the right time, and so they made some money, but now it's gone? Or did they just not have a why that sustained them, and the inevitable grind of business just wore them down until they threw in the towel?
I want Josh to answer this because, don't think of this. Look, like let's say I'm used to being the underdog. Right? I haven't played at the hundreds. My brands, my companies have collectively made over 100 million, but I'm not making big boy money yet like Josh Snow. How do you not stay how do you kill complacency? You see what I'm saying? Like I'm still trying to get to hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. Like if you're making that kind of money and you look at your bank account and you're like, I'm freaking good. I can never work another day in my life and I'm good. But you're still winning.
When I didn't have money, I started 13 years old and people used to say, I had nothing. So they go, oh, money isn't by happiness. So I was like, all right, give me your money and I'll show you how happy I'll be.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that was my answer.
I did a TED talk on how money can buy happiness.
And for me at first, I didn't know. And I didn't know what a Lamborghini was. I took the city bus. So once I figured out Lamborghini was, I was like, all right, I need one of those. How much are they? Whoa. Well, what job do you have to work to drive a few of those every week? There is no job to do that. And I go, oh, entrepreneurship. And I go, okay, it's not even about the car. I don't care that much. I still don't care. But I think that there's a jadedness that comes from like being long enough in the industry and make enough money that if you're cognizant of it enough, you'll catch the signals that it's not really the car, the other, it doesn't really matter, man.
Get over that shit.
You get like disgusted. Like it's almost like a jadedness. So that was my answer. But I think that the way you overcome some of that stuff is, yes, you think of your why, what's the vision of what you're trying to build. 2, donate along the way, because you donate $1 billion, it's not even a drop in the pan. It's better than what most people will do, but it's when you're giving, when you make $1 billion, oh man, that guy made $1 billion. When you give $1 billion, it's also amazing. But in terms of the giving, like how many people need help and how many people you can impact, that's super important. So I think that driving that home is something that I continually push forward. And then complacency comes down to, it's hard, man. Like it's the easiest thing is not to get to the gym. Once you get to the gym and you start working out, and then after a while, like, oh, I might hang out here a little bit longer. But getting there is very difficult. So inertia is difficult. And I think there's a lot of connections between extreme success in athleticism and some allegories to entrepreneurship, because the grit, the drive, the pain tolerance, the mental, emotional pain tolerance, the soloism a lot of times of having to be your best cheerleader, your best critic too, your meanest critic, hardest critic, but also your biggest cheerleader, but like everything. And so I think that there's a lot that is hardened throughout that process. And so becoming an entrepreneur and being an entrepreneur, whether you're born one or you become one, I believe that it is when you realize that you are one, or you have the ability to create that impact, it then becomes a responsibility. And complacency is simply another word for laziness. And laziness is disrespect for the life that you have. Thanks. You have one life. I've lost a lot of family and a lot of friends early on. And I have every day that I have that I can go and do something. That's an opportunity for me. So complacency, there's a difference between resting. I need to rest. If I need to go to lay on the beach in Turks and Caicos for a week, I need a week off. But when I'm back on because I have that mission, I've got that why. And that why has changed for me over time. It was, I need a car so I don't have to take the bus. I need to help my family. I need to buy my mom a car. I need to do all of those things. And then after a while, you're like, well, what is this? And then I realized entrepreneurship was my sport. I was not good enough at football, track and field, the other sports. I could never do what Andre does. And so I had to do what I do. And then we met. in terms of that kind of thing. And I think there's a lot of similarities in that. And I think that you don't want to rest in the middle. I think I saw a Steve Harvey video, or I don't know who it was, Kobe said this about not resting in the middle. And that stuck with me so deep for so long about not resting in the middle. What are you doing resting in the middle? And then Steve Harvey said, if you're going through hell, why would you stop in the middle? You're going through hell, why would you stop, push through? And so sometimes the only way through is the way through. And you got to push through. And clarity comes through progress, not through pontificating and talking to 100 people. Progress, hard work. And I find every time I get burnt out, depressed, lonely day, whatever, everyone's human comes up. As soon as I start to give what I want to receive most, let me pay for the 2 cars behind me in Starbucks and just, not expect anything. I'm having a bad day. I don't say that, but I know that. And I admit that. And I find that there's a trigger to that. And I find that the last piece of my answer is there's a dopamine release that comes from the addiction of achievement.
Yeah.
And once you've reached the max capacity in your field, you look for the other intensity that is recognizable for you. And I think that that's where a lot of the greats meet. And I think that that's why I've been fortunate to work with some of the best celebrities and athletes in the world. And I'm not, an athlete. I'm an entrepreneur. But why are we so much alike? And why do we understand each other so much? And why do we connect so much in those different areas? And I think that that's a lot of the complacency. And I think you can't rest in the middle. Champions don't rest in the middle.
I love that answer.
That's why I love it.
Yeah, and you're doing something that's really big, and you haven't finished that mission yet with Snow Oral Care. I want to end this podcast on a super high note because it's been a phenomenal conversation.
Yeah, it's been good.
I'm glad we did this versus individual stuff. Like I like just all dogpiling in.
For listeners, it wasn't supposed to go this way. I was going to do it just me, and then Andre was going to do it just him, and then Josh was going to do another episode. But we were having so much. We were having so much fun in the car. We're like, screw it, let's
go. We talked a lot about giving back, making your money matter. You're doing something really cool. So Cole, for those of you that don't know Cole, he's been a very successful real estate investor. How long?
17 years. 17
years. Great builder and developer in California. Done a lot of big projects. Made a fortune. Also is one of the best stage speakers in the world. When I said, I'm surprised you didn't say sales, persuasion, and influence. His brain was on another wavelength, but like that's your lane, bro. You're one of the best, hundreds of millions of dollars in sales from stage. And you've been quietly doing something behind the scenes with this orphanage funding. You would make all this money and then you'd fund this orphanage because you had this belief system from your faith that what was it? Your right
give with
hand
your right hand without the left hand knowing, bro.
Give with your right.
Yeah, the Bible says that you should be generous, but not in front of others and boast in others, or else you have received your reward in full. So
many years you were quietly funding this orphanage. And
11 years.
And you were a what's the word I'm looking for?
Missionary.
A missionary. And so you've been down in Ensenada, Mexico. You were working at nonprofits. You were building houses for underprivileged families and helping these kids. But then you saw the need for this orphanage.
Yeah.
You found a family. You started this orphanage. And it was just something you were quietly doing, you and your wife. And you were bringing the food. You were bringing the clothes. You were bringing all the resources. And then a good friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, his name is Danny, very successful guy that's also going through a massive exit on his business, 9-figure exit. Said, dude, you're being selfish. You're being selfish. You're doing this amazing thing down there, and you brought a handful of us down there over the years. And but why don't we have an opportunity to jump in and get involved in that? And that's when MakeMoneyMatter.org was born. And now you have a 501c3.
Yeah.
And we raised
$32,300 last night.
$32,000.
Nice.
Was that right?
32,300. Yeah.
32,300. Doing a little fun charity poker tournament.
Yeah. So a couple of our friends got together and we raised 30 G's last night. It was cool.
And that's all 100% going to the kids. And what are you doing down there with the money and what's your vision for this nonprofit?
So with that specific 30 grand, we've been eyeballing a 1 acre parcel that's for sale right next door to ours. Like it shares a property line. It's as close as it could possibly be. And it's flat, it's dirt, and our kids play soccer on it right now. In Mexico, they don't have the means to care for grass. So all the soccer fields are just built in dirt lots. And so even though our kids are currently using it as a soccer field, it's not our land. Well, it's currently for sale for $18,000. And Danny and I were just down there maybe 3 weeks ago and we were looking at it and we said, why don't we see if they'd be interested in selling, which is why I know the number is 18, and turn this into like a professional soccer field as best we can by grading it, not bringing in grass because they wouldn't be able to care for it, but grading it, making it flat, getting all the potholes and putting in soccer goals, building aluminum bleachers, the whole deal. So we just kind of had that thought 3 weeks ago, reached out to the owners, found out it was for sale for 18 grand, and then did our charity poker last night. So we're going to buy the land for the 18,000. With the remaining amount, we're going to grade it so it's completely flat. We're going to build goals, build aluminum bleachers. And so now my orphanage has access to that, obviously, but we're going to let the community know that it's a new community park. We're going to build a jungle gym and all kinds of stuff. Literally, we just thought of this morning. We had a team call, myself, Danny, and Sonia, and we're going to make that a resource for the entire community to benefit from. So not just my orphanage, they've got like the coolest playground and soccer field connected to them now, but all the other kids who aren't orphans, who are just impoverished Mexican families who live in these colonias and have nothing. I mean, they have nothing, not even running water or electricity. They have this brand new, beautiful soccer field that they can all play on.
And you built you're building medical facilities.
Yeah, so at our event last April, we were able to raise a few $100,000. And so we also bought 4 acres where we're building an entire village down there where we will be able to have over 100 children at the orphanage now going forward, as well as a women's rehab facility for women who are addicted to drugs or alcohol to go through this facility who have children. We will foster their children at the orphanage. So they'll just live with the orphan kids while their parents, or their mom, I should say, are getting the rehab that they need. And then once mom's healthy, she'll take her child and go off to live a thriving life.
And it's sad because there's a lot of, since it's a border town, there's a lot of child trafficking.
And that's what we target is the specific ages that we're looking for are that 6 to 13 age, which in the world of adoption is harder. People want brand newborns because if they are infertile or for whatever reason, usually people want the youngest children possible. And so when you find that 10 and above age group of children who have no families, who are orphaned, it's rarer for them to have families lined up waiting to adopt, if that makes sense. But we specifically target them because, as disgusting as this is, little girls at about 8 or above, the cartels have learned that they can sell cocaine to somebody once, but they can sell a 10-year-old girl 12 times a day. Wow. And so the drug cartels have turned into human trafficking cartels and are grabbing these children off the street, funneling them into America through their tunnels or however they do it. Their borders are wide open right now, so they probably just walk across waving. And then they get put into these brothels that these disgusting American men would satisfy their sexual appetites in. And you would think that this is like in some third world country. Bro, it's right here in Phoenix where we're sitting right now. This happens.
Well, I mean, don't point at my building. I'm just saying, like, maybe somewhere else in Arizona. I mean, like,
but this is super important. And so what we're doing is we are collecting these children and putting a roof over their head and putting them in the private school. And I have been funding that myself for years. But like you said, Danny's like, dude, how good does that make you feel? And I was like, bro, it's like the greatest feeling ever, other than my family. And like, you know, and he's like, then why don't you share it? I was like, damn, that's good. And that's when we made it a 501c3. And so we're going to invest about $500,000 in my orphanage. It will turn into a 7-acre restoration compound where nothing but healing and protection and God's work is going to be happening in these people's lives. And it's funded because of amazing individuals like you guys now.
I love it. So if somebody listened, this is why I wanted to end on that, because I love your mission, man. Every time we throw an event, we get up there, we raise tons of money, and then we see it go to work, and 100% of all the money is going towards the kids, which I love.
I don't take a salary. We don't have office or staff. Actually, that's not true. We do have staff, but I still pay for that personally. So every single penny we raise, 100% goes to the kids.
And if somebody listening wanted to maybe get involved, support, donate, like when we were doing the big raise at Clever Summit, there were like doctors that are like, I have all these supplies, I will donate supply. Like, how can people get to you? What's the website?
Just makemoneymatter.org is the best place to go. If anyone feels compelled to donate, it's a 501c3, so it's a tax write-off if you live in America at least. And so makemoneymatter.org is the best spot. And if they want to just get more information, just find me on Instagram and DM me is probably the best way to get a hold of me. I'm just at Cole Hatter, one word, no underscores, no dots, no numbers, just at Cole Hatter. Shoot me a DM, and if this is something that you feel compelled to be a part of, I'll let you know based on what you want to do, what we have available.
Love that. And then Josh, thanks for being on, dude. You dropped a lot of
thanks for having me on again. Thanks for having me chill with you guys.
How can people find you and drop a little commercial real fast for Snow Oral Care?
Snow, you can find it at Snow on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We have our new kids line at Frost on the same things. I'm at Josh Snow, and I've got a TV show called Going Public, available at goingpublic.com, where we take companies public through the NASDAQ on the show, and we film it and share it. and viewers can invest. So it's kind of like American Idol meets Shark Tank. It's amazing.
That's right.
Damn. And how old are you, Josh?
16.
Doing all that by age 16, man. He's a prodigy.
I just turned 30.
Dude, all of that before the age of 30, man. That's epic.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Andre, you got to step your game up, bro. Come on. I mean, like, you're only winning some championships and some titles. I know. I love it. All right. So, Andre, how can people get a hold of you and how can they?
Just anybody. I mean, of course, across all my social platforms at Andre Berto, my name. You know, they can email me as well. I'm at Berto Capital. US wasn't 83. Wasn't at Gmail. Like I said, I'm not too hard to find.
Yeah, and you know one of my favorites. So Andre's a new friend of mine. You were here a couple weeks ago. We broed out now, and you're back, and you just spoke at our mastermind, kind of giving our members that championship mindset pep talk that we needed from Shane. And you know, dude, I love your energy. Man, it's so infectious, bro. It is such good energy. You got the it.
I wake up so excited, man, because like I said, it wasn't my choice to wake up. I mean, of course, God just chose it for me. Each and every day we wake up, man, we got to push it to another level, and I love it. I get a high off life, bro. It's crazy.
You're a great networker. You keep doing this, man. You're going to be at the top of the real estate game before you know it. Definitely would love to have you back.
Yeah, we're going to keep crushing it, man.
Future. Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. What do you guys think, man? Do you like this kind of round table entrepreneur, just raw talk? I kind of dig it. I think we're going to have to do this again. Look,
next time we should drink a bunch of wine or something first and just see what happens.
Just get litty. I mean, that's how a Drink Champs is.
Yeah,
you know, they just start.
We should start by the end of 1942.
Hey, man! By the end of this, bro, you're gonna go full Kanye on everybody, and I don't know if we want that. I'll have to delete this episode.
Hey, if we're building orphanages, we'll do it.
Yeah, that's right. Look, make sure you guys subscribe to this podcast. And obviously, since we don't have any advertising or anything like that, we would really appreciate you sharing this with a friend. You know, if there's an entrepreneur that's on the come up, they're looking for just to be in this world, maybe get some knowledge nuggets, some advice, or connect with any of our guests, and you resonated with this conversation, make sure you share it with one of them. And also give us a 5-star review. You know, those reviews really help. That's all we have for you in this episode. Until next time, we're out of here. Take care. Comb your hair. Peace. Hey, thanks for being a subscriber of the Clever Investor Show. As a thank you gift, we wanted to give you something that we know is going to help you get started as a creative real estate investor. It's our Real Estate Success Kit, and it's completely free. Just go to www.reisuccesskit.com to customize your kit, but essentially it's a collection of 15 training tools designed to help you get results quickly as a creative real estate investor. From systems to lead generation to finding cash buyers to creative ways to close deals and get paid. Your free REI Success Kit is just a few clicks away. Once again, the website's www.reisuccesskit.com.